This video shows how DIMS is supposed to be used and by whom and why. Most companies which use SQL Server as database engine for their data have a team of DBAs which are supposed to manage those servers, and depending on the maturity of that team and the budgets they have allocated for managing these servers, they can either build a framework or build a product which allows them to manage those SQL servers and answer questions or resolve issues faster. Most of DBAs are good database administrators. Some of them are good TSQL developers too, and some of them are good with PowerShell scripting, hence the framework that they usually build is a combination of TSQL code and PowerShell code. In order to use that framework, you are limited to SQL Server Management Studio, Visual Studio Code, and SQL Server Extension, which are good but not ideal when it comes to consuming these frameworks, which is why I decided to create DIMS. The application goal was to fill some gaps that SSMS and other tools have when it comes to using every company framework. SSMS allows data retrieval, but sorting the results set, filtering, aggregating, it has to be done using TSQL code. Visual Studio, on the other side, allows you to sort and filter the results set, but I am not aware if you can aggregate the data visually. SSMS doesn't allow you to chart any of the data, and I believe for Visual Studio Code, you need another extension to chart the results set. SSMS and Visual Studio were not developed to display the results set hierarchically, but this doesn't mean that in the future they will not allow users to do that. None of the tools allows you to pivot the results set unless in case of Visual Studio Code another extension is installed. SSMS for time being, per my knowledge, doesn't let you to interact with the results sets you have obtained in the application, and I believe Visual Studio too. I'm not saying that this will never be a future of either of them in the future. I am just saying that you cannot do it as we speak. Although both of them allows the creation of extensions that you can add in SSMS and Visual Studio, it is better to have your own GUI for result sets consumption. Although both applications allows you to create something similar to CMS and have script repository loaded in SSMS exactly as you see, I have the scripts after I'm searching for none of the tools is able to allow you to launch specific scripts for specific instances in the way you need or want. Having access to the application source code means that you can choose how scripts against multiple instances can be executed. SSMS by default, and I believe Visual Studio Code without maybe an extension doesn't allow you to format some of the result set cells. Because in both applications we cannot reference previous result sets, we cannot compare or perform other things we might want. Since we cannot reference result sets, we cannot use specific values from one result set as input values for a script that we want to execute. Up to this point, you saw me executing scripts against single and multiple instances in order to access different things. At the end of the video, you can see me how I gather data for troubleshooting a SQL Server instance, which is the perfect example of something that SSMS and Visual Studio Code cannot do for end users, although both of them might be able to execute TSQL scripts in a loop and store the results in a temporary table. None of them allows you to use that data, add legends, create charts, and so on. Although not showing in this video, but shown in other posts, this application allows the DBA to perform better regardless if where he is working there is a framework in place or not. He can, if needed, to add code to store SQL instances metadata, as shown in other videos, and generate morning checks based on the data gathered in the evening. This application is for consultants which don't need to know anything from the client they want to troubleshoot. The only thing they need is a list of SQL instances and their ports, load them when application launch, after which they can use all the hard-coded scripts and features of the application to troubleshoot and generate charts and reports in Word and Excel with the findings.